What's happening? What's happening in Portugal? What's happening in Japan? What's happening in Costa Rica?
Not Costa Rica.
Tell us where you're watching from in the chat. We want to hear from you.
Let's
Welcome
go.
to another edition of Talking Sports with the 12th Man. We know you're watching in Rio, in Brazil, down in Lima, in Argentina, in Atlanta, Florida, Las Vegas, LA, Seattle, Portland. We want to hear from you, baby.
Let's go international, baby. Like the World Cup.
That's
Let's
right.
keep it going. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, we are officially ready to talk some sports on this May 11th, Monday night. Yeah, we had to get it in, man. We have a crazy week. Missing Gary. JQ is going to join us a little later, but Rob, we got a lot of things to talk about. The sports world never seems to stop. We're right in the middle of NBA playoffs. We got some Major League Baseball. College football stuff is right around the corner. WNBA, NHL hockey. We got a lot of things, to get into, man. So let's get this party started without further ado. And Mr. Rob Asparagus Ford, man, how you feeling this evening, my guy?
Man, doing great, man. It's a good time to talk sports and an interesting stat from the sports world, right? There's not a sport right now where the ratings are not on the rise.
Wow.
And so when you look at NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL, college lacrosse, college volleyball, there's not a sport out right now where the ratings are not on the rise. Every single sport, the ratings, WNBA ratings on the rise, women's college basketball, men's college basketball this year had an incredible year of ratings.
Yeah.
Sports as a whole is on the rise. And I think, you know what that says? People are just, we don't have to get too much into this, but people are just tired of all this political rhetoric.
Let's go.
And sports is on the rise.
Yeah, sports is always a good, Rob, kind of a distraction sometimes.
Yep.
And I know sometimes life is you need that separation, right? So it's always a good thing to kind of get that out the way. We're gonna get JQ in, even though he's in the car. But I know you're in the car, JQ. We were just talking about how Rob was saying how I don't know if you heard that first part about just how the ratings for sports is going up in every endeavor, whether it's WNBA, whether it's hockey, whether it's playoffs. There's an uptick in the sports viewership right now.
No. Yep, there's not a sport out
that.
right now
Sorry.
where the ratings are not on the rise.
Okay, yeah, you're good. We're just making sure you jumped on. So yeah, that's we're literally just started, man. So
we were just saying how sports in general, and a lot of it, we won't have to get too much into it, but I think, a lot of people are just tired of this political rhetoric out there, and sports as a whole, every single sport out, the ratings are on a rise right now. From the NFL to the NBA to the NHL to Major League Baseball to college volleyball to college lacrosse.
Not college volleyball.
No, college volleyball ratings.
ESPN, the Ocho. I love it.
College volleyball ratings were up 4% this year. 4%.
All right.
Listen, I believe it because I don't know about everybody else across the country, but I think we're at the point in time with the midterms coming up where you can't watch regular TV. If you're going to watch the news, you're going to get all the political ads before the 4:30, the 5 o'clock, the 5:30, the 6 o'clock, the 6:30 news, and between the 10 and the 11 o'clock news. And it's like people I think are like, well, damn, I'm tired of this. I want something to give me a relief. So I can believe that. You got to get off of regular TV and sports to where it's at.
Yep, WNBA. Women's college basketball, men's college basketball ratings on the rise this year. Every single sport. You can look at every single sport and the ratings on the rise.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that we're in shock about that. I think we're all in agreement, just kind of the political environment, and that's why we're here, right? We're here to kind of do the same thing to provide a little relief. Excuse me, if I can get that out, and just enjoy just some time with my bros and having a good time too. So really quickly, let's get this party started. A lot of things says, hey, what's up, Richard? Good to see you, man. As always, let me get the sides.
Happening, Richard.
I get the sides up here because for some
reason
we're
playing hooky tonight.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna say, go ahead. I'm just trying to figure out why I did not connect through my.
Gary's playing hooky tonight, Richard.
Yeah, he
Said,
had a friend
"Where's
come
Gary?"
in. Yeah, he had a friend come in, so we'll get him in, man. But we appreciate you as always, man.
Okay.
But yeah, follow us. We got on the crawl. You see what's going on here. Appreciate you joining us, Richard, as always, man. Follow us on a couple things. We're gonna always plug that in. We're gonna follow us on Twitter X at the number 12 THMEN Sports. Follow us on Facebook, where Richard and Duke and everyone is following us, which is at the number, which is literally facebook.com/talking sports with the 12th man, and then YouTube on another 12th man sports. So that's really, I just see on the crawl. And just some we woke up this morning to some interesting news about Ahmad Hardy in stable condition after being shot at a concert, man. He was in Mississippi. And yeah, this is my other this is the other studio, Richard. And whenever I have to like pop in real quick, so I had to make a quick run, man. So I was running late, so I just literally went upstairs. But just to kind of give him the story. He was shot at a concert, man, and it's luckily he's in stable condition right now. The good news, it does appear that he will play football again. How quickly he will return and the impact isn't quite yet known, but he is alert moving around. So it's kind of a scary situation, if you're from the Missouri side. But just I don't know if you want to add to that, Rob. Just kind of crazy what's going on with that. Him being a victim of that shooting in Mississippi early Sunday morning. Excuse me.
Yeah, I know we don't have all the details. Were he an intended target or not, or what was the deal of all the details? But to your point, Dre, it looks like he's in stable condition. Hey, look, I have him as a late first round pick in next year's draft, right? So I don't know how it's going to impact him from a football perspective, but obviously, you just want to be thankful that he's stable and that he's alive. At this point, we'll worry about football later, but definitely. First 6, 7, 8 weeks of the season, he was arguably the best running back in the country last season, right? He kind of tailed off a little bit, and I guess that's why he decided to come back to school for another year. But, really good running back with great vision, good speed. He's from Mississippi, obviously. He made the transfer up to Missouri either last year or the year before last, can't remember. So hopefully he comes back and he's able to play and still have the same effect. Because like I said, I had him as a late first round pick and the second running back in next year's draft behind Kawan Lacey.
Yeah, not a lot to add to that until we get some more details. But I just pray for that young man. I'm glad he's in stable condition. Hopefully he can get back to the sport and the profession that he loves. But you gotta be careful out there in the streets, man. When the NIL thing, target.
Yeah. Yep.
Good stuff. We're going to talk about another interesting thing here, Rob. We're going to talk about Lane's Kevin comment about the lack of diversity made recruiting difficult at Ole Miss. And I'm going to let you guys take this. But when I was looking at this topic, it's kind of something that, I give Lane Kiffin credit to actually bring this up, right? Basically said that in an interview in Vanity Fair, he said that black families were hesitant to send their children to Ole Miss. Obviously that's been, that school's been wrestled with kind of ties to the Confederacy. And he did say this since he's been the coach at LSU, it's easier to recruit black players to Baton Rouge because of the city's diversity. So I think these conversations are a little bit different than he's had for some high profile recruits at Ole Miss. And Rob, I know you don't really have an affinity for Ole Miss, but
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, exactly. I knew I was waiting
JQ.
for you to say that. I was trying to be on the up and up there, but JQ filled it in. But this is an interesting, not that it's interesting, Rob, but just the fact that he talked about it, and we know that it's kind of like it's kind of understood, right? And the fact that he brings this to light in the interview in Vanity Fair, I think it says something for sure.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Baton Rouge is a majority black city. I don't know if a lot of people in the country know that, but there's a higher percentage of blacks that live in Baton Rouge than any other race, right? And so and look, LSU is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, right? I mean, I think they still have some some
Yep.
work to do from a diversity standpoint,
All
but I'm
do.
sure they're a long way ahead of Ole Miss. I'll at least say that. But they're not
Oh,
perfect. They're not perfect either when it comes to that standpoint and their history and things of that nature too. But LSU does have a black athletic director in Verge Asbury, right? They've had several black head coaches in basketball over the years, right? So they've had a lot of diversity. They've had black coaches in the women's basketball program, but still was still not perfect. A long way to go. But you guys may remember this name. I know Andre does because he got drafted by the Falcons. Chad Lavallee
yep.
played at LSU, defensive
Mm-hmm.
tackle on the 2003 LSU national championship team under Nick Saban. And I remember years ago, Chad Lavallee said the LSU team will go up to play Ole Miss, and every time they went up there, the fan base will call them the N-word.
Wow.
And he said that was the worst place, the worst place for them to ever go on the road and play, and to actually hear that. He stated Chad Lavallee was at LSU 4 or 5 years, and so obviously he went up there at least twice, maybe even 3 times, and he did say that they would get called the N-word, black players and LSU players, and the families will get called the N-word going up to Ole Miss. Now that was 20 years ago, 23 years ago. I don't think much has changed, and
Wow.
yeah. So I remember that like it was yesterday on Chad Lavallee in those interviews.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm going to defer to Rob. He's a lot closer to it. Just for everybody that listening in to the thing, I was just on Twitter today and saw that come up. Like, why is Lane Kiffin trending again? And then I you know what I
I was
mean?
like, what did that
Because
nut do this time when you texted
yeah,
that?
that was the exact words. What did that nut do this time? And I saw it and I was like, oh my goodness. So all I would say is the opposite side of that is that the Ole Miss people and people that don't like Lane Kiffin are saying he's trying to spin why he left Ole Miss to go to LSU. So I don't know if I hope that Lane Kiffin wouldn't have used that to try to excuse himself from leaving Ole Miss to go to LSU to bring that kind of racial charge into the conversation without it being a real thing. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because if you did that and you're Lane Kiffin and it comes out to find out that's not true, you can never coach again. You know what I mean? Like you can't use that as an excuse to leave Ole Miss to go to LSU. But if that's a real reason, then props to Lane for bringing that to light and being like, hey, man, yeah, I took the money. I would tell you I took the money to go. And that he might not have known that it was like that when he went to Ole Miss. And he found out and he was looking for a way to get out. And then LSU was his way out. And to Rob's point, all the schools in the Deep South have some skeletons, right? Like there's not one that you can look at and say that school in the Deep South doesn't have some skeletons. So you can't take it to that. But in 2026, if parents are still saying that, like I love you, but I'm Oxford, and that's a real thing, then I can't argue with him leaving and going to LSU. Not that LSU was not just necessarily the better job anyway, but if that's a real thing, then
yeah, ultimately, I think he left because LSU is a better job. I mean, let's face it. I think that LSU is probably paying them more money. They got more nil money. LSU has spent $40 million on their roster for next season. $40 million. Ole Miss was not going to spend that kind of money. Lane Kiffin had 3 5-star recruits in his. I think he was at Ole Miss 5 years or 6 years. But yeah, no, he was at Ole Miss for 6 years, and he only signed 3 5-star recruits his whole 6 years at Ole Miss. In 1 year at LSU, he's already signed more than that than he did his entire 6 years at Ole Miss. So I mean, obviously LSU's got the resources, and maybe that was a part of it. And Nick Saban obviously told him, "Hey, you don't want to turn down the LSU job."
No.
So I think all of that was a big part of it. Yeah.
Listen, anybody with some sense knows you don't turn down LSU for Ole Miss. Get out your feelings, Ole Miss. Stop it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many layers to this, guys, and we don't spend too much time on this because, again, it's like, if Lane Kiffin doesn't get out, and LSU's kind of like his saving grace. And he's like, oh, by the way, this is what's really going on. And you're like, wait, what? I mean, that was there, but just him to kind of like, obviously bring us up. Marshall, we'll talk about that in a quick second too. But and it's just it's something that we talk about for Alabama. You talk about other schools from the South. I mean, there's been some situations too.
All of them.
Oh yeah,
you're not.
Like I said, LSU's not perfect either.
Yeah, I mean, and you can say that. So I give you props for coming out and saying that. Yeah, there's a lot of situations that aren't perfect, and this is why if you believe it, a lot of the NFL players, a lot of were drafted from HBCs, which are historical black colleges, because they never went to a lot of these SEC schools. So Sam Bam Cunningham, we got that story how he ran up and down. That he went at HBC, but the story how he just beat up on Alabama. And you hear these stories all the time of how Jerry Rice came from Delta Valley State. There's different places that you're like, man, and then it's kind of different, obviously. So yeah.
Hey, give me a quick second. Give me 3 minutes. Y'all go to the next topic. I'm gonna join back from my computer. I just got home.
Okay.
Did you see what happened about what Marcy's talking about with Caitlin Clark and Morgan Wallen?
I was just looking it up.
Yeah, I did. I saw it. Give me a second. I'm joining back in 3 minutes.
All right. Mm-hmm. We'll let JQ join that too, because that was I'm reading that too. Latest on Aaron Rodgers that we're looking at, Rob. It appears that because we got to get JQ whenever we talk about Ohio State and Indiana. Obviously, I still think he's heading to the Steelers.
Yes, yeah.
Sure. There's no, that's for you, Richard. That nothing's happening on that. So just a little note on that. And I guess, Rob, whenever you put the latest on Ruben Bain, was that related to kind of him signing the contract, or just kind of like, what were you meaning with that? Just did anything pop up that I've missed on this one, or what?
I think the thing with Ruben Bain is all indications are that he is focused and he is upset about falling to number 15 in the draft. Oh. And he's taking names if everybody that passed him up. And, the Saints are one of the teams that passed him up. So I'm sure he's ready to lick some chops and lick some wounds. And all indications are he has been extremely focused. And you can see how pissed and disappointed he was when he fell all the way to 15 in the draft. And it just seems like he is a man on a mission to prove people wrong. Now, look, he's still got to go out there and do it on the field, so we'll see what happens, right? But he just seems like a man that's just tunnel vision right now and focus on having a big-time season next year as a freshman. Not as a freshman, as a rookie, right? Yeah. So we'll see what he does. I know he's in our division, and, I hate Tampa almost as much as I hate the Falcons and the Bucks. And obviously I don't want them to have any success. But he definitely looked like a guy that's a man on a mission.
Yeah. So two things really quickly, Rob, just to kind of get back on Ruben Bain. I think it is interesting because you have to use whatever you can for fuel, right? And I think that's kind of what he's doing right now. He's like, hey, I've been drafted at this position. Everyone, I think it's kind of a similar playbook. I'm gonna, having that chip on your shoulder, but whatever you have to do to get motivated. I mean, you do what you got to do. And yeah, Richard, I think the biggest thing about, and I don't know a list of all the celebrities, but I think the biggest thing is just the impact for Caitlin Clark is because she's just kind of, huge face of the WNBA, and just, she's got a lot of challenges as it is, right? Right now. And then this is just, it's not a good look, I would say, so in spite of what she's trying to accomplish, especially if you're trying to, we know where the league is, and they kind of figure she's kind of like the Great White Hope, right? Everyone's like, oh, she's awesome and she's great and whatever. And she has some haters on both sides, and then she has some fans on both sides, So, whenever you have that much of a impact in the spotlight on you, I don't think you can do certain things. So, Morgan Wallen, he, was accused of saying the N-word at a concert, obviously, and that still didn't go over well to the community. And so if she's at his concert, then that assumes that she, she likes him or whatever. So that's what I'm assuming. So it's just not a good look for Caitlin, and you're already adding fuel to the fire already because you're already, seeming to be one way. And I don't know if you can understand that, Richard, but that's just kind of a situation that that's a big deal. Go ahead,
Yep.
JQ.
She didn't walk out of the concert. He brought her out like, hey, like when you watch boxing and somebody brings a boxer out, like rapping with him to the music to like bring him out. She walked out with him like he was bringing her out, like to the thing. So yeah, that's a terrible look for her. Listen, you might like the music, and that's fine for it. You got to be careful with that because of all the controversy he's had.
Yep.
She's got to have some people close to her and say, hey, man, that's not what you wanted to do.
Including players in her locker room.
Yeah. And she's got to have to navigate that. That was, listen, if you like his music, okay. It's a deeper conversation I think you necessarily want to get into this podcast with.
Yes. Yeah.
At this point in time, you know what I mean? It's not reading the room is what I would say.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's again, it's just we're not gonna. Rob, I'm gonna let you kind of get your thoughts in here too, man. It's just in poor taste at this time.
Yeah.
And like you said, you can say, hey, she just like country music. Nah, man. Anyway, but I would say it's not. It's just a sensitive time right now, and certain things can be brushed on the rug, especially you being, obviously being propped up as the face of the WNBA and everything like that. It's not a good look for you. You have to watch out for that stuff whenever, especially if you're trying to build more bridges, if you will,
Yeah, definitely. I didn't even know about it until Marcy brought it up. I was just looking it up and just read a little bit on it. But certainly, definitely not a good look, and probably half or more of your locker room are African American females, right? So it's definitely not a good look. So she's gonna have a lot of explaining to do to just her peers in that locker room, right?
Yeah.
So she's gonna have to do something to bridge that gap there for sure.
The insensitivity, I think, is something that, again, it's just like you gotta, JQ, you said it right. You gotta read the room, man. Even if, man, I don't care if you like that. You better like go under like a deep cloak or something like that. Not like, hey, you coming out like that's your boy and everything like that. That's not what we're looking for here.
Not a good look.
And
and she's from Middle America too, right?
Yeah.
So people are going to automatically make that assumption too.
And I wonder if, and I don't know this, but before they got Sophia Cunningham to go out there and like have her back, all the times they're like, well, how come they don't have somebody that's an enforcer on the team that allows her to get knocked around? You know what I mean? And it's like, do they already know? And they're like, I'm not coming out here to get suspending, and I'm already getting paid peanuts, and now you want me to go out here and get fined for it, taking up for her. But I'm watching her every day when we travel, when she's listening to how she's representing herself. Like, so I don't know that to be the case. But when I see that happen, it makes me think back to, damn, Caitlin Clark's the golden goose. How come nobody on her team is going out there and defending her the way they should defend her when she's the golden goose? You know what I mean? So that has some level of to play into it. I don't know. I have no inside information to anybody listening to it. But when I see that happen, it makes me harken back to those days before Sophia was really the only one that came to her defense. I watched her teammates watch her get pummeled, and nobody said a word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was the receiver from the Eagles? Was it Ridley, something like that? I remember whenever he went to a couple concerts, and they're like, yeah, oh well. yeah. Karma is a bad bitch.
Riley Cooper?
Man. So Riley Cooper. Remember that?
Riley Cooper,
yeah, I remember that, man. So, and again, America, I know we're not trying to get on this subject. I mean, I DJ a lot of weddings, and country music is it's interesting to me because, again, you can kind of get away with certain things, and I listen to a lot of songs like, but now it's not the place to talk about that. We'll circle back at another situation for sure. But Caitlin, that's not a good look, Caitlin. We're going to talk about the NFL schedule release really quickly, but we've got a big game, Ohio State at Indiana, and I see this, by the way, because it's going to be in the middle of the season, right? So this is a Big Ten matchup. 'Em, occurring in Week 7. It's going to be in Indiana, believe it or not, at Memorial Stadium. So, and again, America, I know we're not trying to get on this subject. I mean, I DJ a lot of weddings, and country music is it's interesting to me because, again, you can kind of get away with certain things, and we'll circle back at another situation for sure. But Caitlin, Obviously, if you guys remember last time we played, it was a tight game. It was a 10-13 win by Indiana. I'm sure Ohio State has that circled on their calendar. There's a lot of questions, right? I say for both sides. Obviously, Indiana does not have Fernando Mendoza. He's being drafted number 1. They're going to be starting with Josh Hoover. It's tough to pick this one. I mean, I would say I would give a slight edge to Ohio State because they're going to have a revenge factor, but you just don't know what's going to happen with the team, with the Hoosiers right now. So they're definitely, they just kind of recycle, man. So they're still going to have Jeremiah Smith. They still have Julian Sayin, if I can say his name correctly. So they're going to be ready. I mean, they've lost a lot on the defensive side, JQ. So I'm sure you have a little bit more details on that. We try to reload, but there's questions, right? With Josh Hoover, there's questions on
Andre keeps saying we. We hear that. Speaking French over there.
That's right, man. I ain't got nothing. I'm gonna do this, man.
Like
so Georgia Tech does some things too. But so that's kind of where I think as far as on the Indiana side.
Well, I know both of you guys are going to have an allegiance. The one I know Andre to Indiana, JQ to Ohio State. But if I have to give my 2 cents, I think both teams are going to be really good offensively next year. I think it's a matter of who's going to have the better defense. And you would have to think Ohio State will have the better defense because of their recruiting base and things of that nature.
Matt Patricia.
But Ohio State still got a lot of people to replace on that defense too. When you look at
Reese,
Carnell Tate, when you look at Reese, when you look at
McDonald,
Styles, McDaniels,
McDonald, Downs,
McDonald,
both Styles.
So they got Caleb Downs. So there's I said Tate. I'm sorry, Tate was a wide receiver.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, they lost Tate too.
I meant to say Downs, but
Imelosa, the other quarterback, also.
Yeah.
With Buffalo.
Absolutely. So Ohio State's got a lot of big time players to replace on defense. Now you think, but the year before they had a lot of big time players to replace on defense, and all these guys kind of stepped up. But when you look at these teams offensively, man, these two teams could both be 2 of the top 5 offenses in the country. With Julian Sayin, Jeremiah Smith, Bo Jackson, and then you go to Indiana. All indications are Hoover had a phenomenal spring at the quarterback position for Indiana. Then you got Nick Marsh and Charlie Becker. Marsh, I think, will be a first-round pick at the wide receiver position. And Charlie Becker, I don't think he's a first-rounder, but he could be a second or third guy. So they're going to have 2 weapons on the perimeter. And Indiana had some guys on the offensive line that came back and could have been drafted highly, too. Some of those guys could have been second, third-round picks.
Running back.
And they decided to come back to school. So offensively, I think these 2 teams could both be legit. But I want to hear y'all predictions. I know it's early.
You already know what's going to happen. It's going to be a shootout. Like,
I agree.
The years before, when you watch those teams and people don't pay any mind, it was like, oh, well, Ohio State beat Indiana. But like those Zeke Elliott years, those other ones, those games were like 35-28, 35-24. Like they were shootouts. And I think we're going to go back to that because you're just not going to replace this. You can't lose everybody on defense. It's going to, even through the middle of the season, you're not going to recruit at that level all the time to replace them like that because in this NIL era, nobody's sitting back to wait 2 to 3 years to get a chance to play. It's not the era that we live in, right? So, listen, I'm going to take my Buckeyes for sure because you ain't talked about Chris Henry Jr. yet, and he's going to be a whole problem on the other side of Jeremiah Smith. I don't know if people are completely ready for what's going to happen to them offensively. So we're going to see. Of course, I'm taking my Buckeyes, but I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be 37-31 Ohio State. It's going to be
I had it 31. I had it 34-31 Indiana on my side because
no, you did not think that shit was going to happen. Stop that.
That's exactly what I've got going, and I'm looking forward to this, man. I just had to oppose anything that JQ does tonight, man. So that's what I'm doing. I got to go for Indiana, man. Come on.
Looks like Richard is picking the Buckeyes too already too.
But remember, JQ was like 10-13, totally opposite. We're like, 30s. I can see it going that high, man. Just the craziness, man.
They both lost a lot of talent, and I just don't think that Ohio State defense, they're not going to win in the same manner that they won last year. where they're
Yeah.
just able to run
Yeah.
the clock down and grind you to a halt. They don't have that defense. They're going to have to change their philosophy. And if they don't, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again,
I think what you're gonna have, Ohio State's obviously gonna have some big plays on the perimeter, but I think Ohio State this year is gonna have to rely on Bo Jackson to kind of control that clock a little bit too, to protect the defense.
Yeah.
A little bit too. But obviously when you got weapons on the perimeter, man, you're gonna have that quick strike ability anytime you can take it to the house. So it's kind of hard to take that philosophy too. They may have a bend but don't break kind of defensive philosophy.
Yep.
Agreed. And I think they knew that last year, which is why they tried to like slow the game down. They got to know that's not going to work this year. They don't have that defense.
And that's the exciting part too, is that we appreciate you, Richard, picking the. I'm sure Jakey's going to appreciate that, but that's the interesting part, because each year it's a brand new team, brand new season. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, pieces are coming back, but again, like you said, you have some solid things. Ohio State's going to retool, man. That's what they do. But you did lose a lot as well, man. So same thing, Indiana retooled, but we don't really know. There's some expectations there, but obviously you got to get on the field.
I think both teams are back in the playoffs too. I mean,
definitely. Oh, definitely. Indiana, they're.
I don't think Indiana's a fluke. I think they'll be back in the playoffs. I don't think they're a national championship team.
Yeah.
But I think they're back in the playoffs for sure.
That Ohio State schedule is tough though.
Yeah, they all got that.
I mean, going on the road against Indiana, that's not going to be easy.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Indiana, you got to play Texas on the road. You got to play Oregon. You got listen. Go check that Ohio State schedule out.
You got a gauntlet, man. You got a gauntlet, man. You're going through the gauntlet, man.
We got to play. Play at Iowa in front of those sick kids. It's hard.
Oh my goodness! Here we go.
Yeah.
Let's see, Richard.
Take your ass to Iowa with some sick kids waving at you in the third quarter, and then you tell me about it.
No, we didn't. We appreciate you. All right, gentlemen. We've been getting some, and this will probably keep happening, right? We've been getting some leaks from the NFL schedule release. We found out, obviously, earlier regarding the first game, if you will. And the schedule release officially is going to be on Thursday, May the 14th at 8 p.m. But we know about the Giants will be hosting the Cowboys. Sunday Night Football, that was the first one. Then you heard about the Cowboys will be playing the Eagles on Thanksgiving, right? So those are the first two that kind of leaked. And I guess any thoughts about that, JQ? I'll make thought to you first, just regarding the schedule release and any other potential leaks that we're kind of looking for, if you will.
No, I don't want to keep hearing about the leaks about the damn Cowboys. You already know
Gary's not even on the call.
I know, but it's still the same thing. You already knew that they play on Thanksgiving. You knew they're going to either play the Giants, the Eagles, or the Commanders. To me, it's either going to be the Eagles or the Giants, because the Giants gotten Harbaugh and what they've got done, and the Eagles are still just the Eagles. I didn't think it would have been the Commanders this year, if I was being honest. So when Rob told us that, I was like, that makes sense. They try to give you a rivalry game, Thanksgiving Day, but I just gonna wait. I want to know when the Bengals are playing the Falcons.
Let's go. Hey, and then the second one, the Lions always play on Thanksgiving too, right? They were always a sacrificial lamb, and not for the past couple years, but the Lions.
But they didn't release that though, right?
Yeah. So again, Rob, on you, man. What are your thoughts about that release, man?
Yeah, I mean, another thing that's been announced several months ago, that the season is going to kick off on a Wednesday night this year, not a Thursday night. So Wednesday night, September 9th, Seattle will kick it off. We don't know who they're going to be playing yet. But Thursday night, September 10th, first time ever an NFL game in Melbourne, Australia. And I am pronouncing that right, because when I went to Australia and I said Melbourne, they said, you must be American. It's Melbourne.
Yep. Yeah.
Melbourne.
So the Rams and the 49ers are playing on that
what day?
Night, September 10th.
September 10th. Oh, September 10th.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So that's already been announced. That game is going to be on Netflix in Australia. Then week 2, you got the Bills and the Lions on week 2. And I think that's the day Buffalo is going to play their first home game in their new stadium. That's going to be on a Thursday night. Yeah.
Stay tuned, America. We're going to have all of us is going to be in Melbourne Australia are going to be doing Sports Talk Live. JQ, Rob, and
No, we are not. I have made that flight. I do not want to do that again. No, we're not.
I went there. I went all the way to Melbourne to see my sorry Pelicans last year in the preseason.
We got to see JQ like Baracus on the A team, just gonna just knock him out, wake him up. What?
Yeah. Listen, you got to drug me, bro. One time.
Week 3, and here we go again. The Cowboys, JQ.
See.
What happened, Rob? Why'd your camera go? Okay, there it is. Go ahead.
Week 3, the Cowboys against the Ravens in Rio, in Brazil. So that's another one that's already been announced. And let's see. We talked about the Eagles. So 9 international games this year. So 3 teams are hosting games in London. Washington and Jacksonville's hosting 2. I'm sorry. So it's 2 teams.
Always Jacksonville.
Yeah, so Jacksonville hosting 2 games in London, and Washington is hosting 1 game in London. Detroit is hosting the game in Munich.
Go Ducks.
The Falcons are hosting the game in Madrid.
Yep, let's go. That's what we're trying to get to.
Then my Saints are hosting a game in Paris this year.
Okay.
So I'm hoping to be at that game. Already making plans. October 25th.
Listen, I told you I need that buddy pass. Joe Burrow has already said to the NFL that he wants to play international. They play the Falcons on the road. They play the Saints on the road. One of those games might be one of those games.
Yep.
Same.
Gonna be interesting. I heard the rumor for the Saints was going to be the Cleveland Browns, but we'll
You're
see.
right. I'm wrong. You know what? I'm wrong. The Bengals play the Panthers and the Falcons on the road. They play the Saints in Cincinnati.
Yeah, the rumor is that the Saints are going to play the Browns in Paris, but we'll see if that's true or not here.
Who the hell wants to go see that?
Hey, my Saints are going to be electric this year, man.
Man, you know what?
But you don't want to see them play the Browns. You rather see them play the Bengals.
I want to see us kick whoever ass we playing.
Listen, if it's Bengals, that's not going to happen. But if you get the Saints and the Bengals, that makes more sense because you get Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase with that Louisiana ties playing the Saints.
Yeah. Well, you say they playing Cincinnati this year. Well, I don't see
Cincinnati,
the Saints.
yeah.
If Joe Burrow's healthy, I don't see the Saints winning in Cincinnati. And I love the Saints.
So sorry, you're right. The Bengals play the Falcons and the Panthers on the road this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey,
Marcy asked about Steve Kerr and the Warriors. Y'all had any thoughts on that?
Well, shit.
Mars, yeah, man. We just really quickly, Mars. I've talked about this. You know, again, it's just it's last hurrah, man. Let him go out. These last 2 coach. He probably was convinced by Curry and Green to kind of like finish strong.
No, that's not what happened. It wasn't Curry and Green. It was the ownership. The ownership said, "Hey, man, we trying to make some moves. We know you don't like the young dudes. We already know that about you, Steve Kerr. We are not going to go out like this. We will give up some picks and some of these other young dudes, like we just gave up Kuminga." What that tells me is that Golden State has said, "Hey, Draymond, we're going to try to keep you. We might have to use your salary." But Curry is staying, and Butler is saying how we hope he's going to be back. But the whole Giannis let's get all the old dudes together like the Expendables. Let's go get LeBron and Kevin Durant. Let's go get all the old dudes together and let them all fade out to the sunset together with veteran coaches.
Gotta be careful. The Clippers did last offseason. They didn't even make the playoffs.
I got you. But there's no chance you bring Kerr back for 2 more years when he's already shown you that he does not like to play young dudes. So when I see that means that the Warriors have a plan to go make some moves and some trades to go get some more veteran players to come along with Curry. And it's Curry. Green is, depending on the moves they have to make, he might have to be a part of that deal. Curry is staying. But he said we're going to go get some dudes around him. There are some veterans. And we're going to take one more push at this over these last 2 years. And then after that, y'all all go together and retire.
Yep. Word on the street is the Warriors are going to be very active going after a star. Now, what they have to give up to get a star is going to be interesting. But word on the street is that they plan to be very active this offseason to try to make another run. Added to JQ point. And they like playing the old guys. So Gary Schaefer's got a chance to be signed and play for them.
Let's go.
So, you know.
Well, the problem is The problem is, if you just like you said earlier, Rob, you talked about the Clippers. You got to have the young guys keep running because they got load management. They want us to be running 40 minutes a game. So you got to have ain't a lot of old guys gonna be running up and down like that. So you got to get some old people to kind of.
They don't play on the second night of a back-to-back.
You got to get some youngins to kind of hold down the fort while you figure that out. So you can't just mortgage your entire future. So I get you, Steve Kerr. Damn it, get some veteran mid. Figure out what the hell you can do with Draymond, like we talked about.
What if you trade Draymond and get Kawhi, and you convince LeBron to come for the mid level, and you get Kawhi, LeBron, and Curry?
Shit, go for it. You might as well drag Chris Paul's old ass out there too. Call it a day, man. There you go.
No. We're not doing that.
Chris Paul retired. He's done, man.
You already tried that. I mean, you got to get rid somewhere, man. I'm messing Mars. I was giving Marcy a hard time about that.
The Clippers trade Kawhi Leonard for Draymond Green.
Not straight up.
Huh?
Not straight up. But I mean, salary-wise,
come on.
Not straight up.
They better have like 4 first-round picks or something with that deal.
You not trade 4 first-round picks for Kawhi Leonard's old ass?
Huh?
Not for Kawhi's old ass, low management ass. You can no 4 first-round picks.
They try to get rid of Draymond. They also trying to get rid of Draymond.
Listen, I give you one.
Every Warriors.
I'm not making that trade. 1 first-round pick. Kawhi Leonard look like he's got a good 3 to 4, 5 years left in him.
Shit. Okay. Yeah. Until he don't.
Until he had an incredible year this past year too.
Until he don't.
The Clippers, Lawrence Frank probably should already be fired anyway, right? I don't know why he still have a job. But anyway, if they make that trade, man.
I remember KD. Substitute Kawhi for KD. If you get KD and LeBron and stuff, listen, running it back like it's 2011. They might
like the Olympic team for a few years ago. Curry and LeBron carried him in the Olympics a few years ago.
That's hilarious. Hey guys, I just want to say happy 5/11 day. By the way, happy Steve Spurrier Day. Just want to let you guys know about that too. So good stuff, man. So basically, Steve, got a big crowd here. It's okay. We wound up 5/11.
But Marcy said no CP, no CP.
Nobody wants Chris Paul throwing ass.
Yeah, we don't want that. He retired, man. He's out.
I see Richard is asking, is the NFL looking to put a franchise in another country? I don't think the plan is to put a franchise. It's so hard from a travel perspective to put another team in another country, and unless you're talking Canada, right? I know if they kicked the tires on adding a team in Toronto a few years ago, but Buffalo is so close to Toronto, and Buffalo has a huge fan base from that Ontario and Toronto area too. So. That's about the only way I can see the NFL have another team in another country, Canada or maybe Mexico City, but not in like Europe or Australia. That's just not going to work.
I wonder if they would ever revisit the whole NFL Europe concept. I think the talent has gotten better to where you have enough practice players who could be on the team, and be also in the CFL to where if they had the NFL Europe where they had their own kind of thing, or maybe you have some kind of global Super Bowl where the winner here plays the winner there. But yeah, the travel is going to be so wild. And they're already so mad about, not having enough bye weeks and 17 weeks already. I don't know if you could feasibly do that. You would have to have multiple teams to where they could play each other,
in a division.
And keep it right there. But I remember NFL Europe, and I would love for them to go back to.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what I agree. NFL Europe is pretty cool. That was a good training ground to get the young guys going. That was fairly. Really, because that was the one place where it was kind of similar. You had some coaching that trying to get their chops, and I feel upset that they didn't continue that for sure, man. So, anyway, just really, we've been burying the league. We've gone long enough without talking about the NBA draft lottery. We're gonna do that, but I do want to do a quick shout out to Craig Morton, unfortunately passing, the first QB to start for multiple different teams. He played for the Cowboys and for the Broncos.
Yep.
So that's just sad, just a legendary quarterback from that perspective. So I just want to throw that out there. Prayer to his family and whatnot too. So Ring of Fame QB Craig Morton passed. 18 seasons, man. He played. That's crazy.
Yeah.
From Cal. Yeah. From the Cal Bears. So let's get into this, man, because I don't want to spend too much time here. We definitely got to get going here. But let's talk about the lottery, Rob. We briefly talked about that before you came on, JQ.
Ain't no Rob. Let's talk about the lottery, Andre.
Exactly right.
What are you talking about? It says Rob on the topics. Says
Listen, I'm gonna see my time.
We want to. Our audience want to hear you rant about the lottery.
I don't give that about the audience. I personally want to hear you rant about the lottery.
Serenity, what? Serenity now, man. Serenity now, serenity now, serenity now, serenity now, serenity now,
I see my time.
serenity now, serenity now, serenity now, serenity now, serenity now. Nah, man, I'm gonna say this, man, because again, the thing is, you got to be lucky, right? You want a little luck, and I get it, because at the end of the day, we weren't supposed to get number 8. That was, but the thing is, you had a 29.3% chance to get in a certain situation. You didn't even get there. Right? Is either top 8, or excuse me, top 3, or like 8, 9, 10, 11. So what do we get? We got exactly the statistic we're supposed to get. So you had this all the time thinking we're getting like a top 3 pick. Like,
you actually were projected at 7. You went down
pick.
a spot to 8.
What'd you
Don't
say?
listen. Come on, Rob.
Y'all were projected to have number 7. Y'all went
That's
down
exactly what was supposed to. Yes, we get that. That's what we're supposed to get, and that's exactly NBA's like, yeah, we'll give them that. So this is what the NBA does. They say, you know what? Some teams get lucky. It's effing ridiculous how the Spurs get lucky twice. They get lucky. Oh, Dave Robinson is going to go to the thing. We're going to give him Tim Duncan. What the hell? 15-time All-Star. Then come back around. You know what? Wemby's right there. Spurs get it. What? Then you got the Dallas Mavericks, right? Here we go. We'll give you. So we get the Falcons, the Hawks. We get the number 1 pick, and the worst. Nobody even wanted the number 1 pick that year. Like, no, we don't want the number 1 pick. Yes, we got the number 1 pick. The Hawks. Here you go,
Andre
guys.
Bruce and
who the hell is going to be there at number? Nobody wanted it. Who wants to be number 1? We don't want that number 1. Now we could have drafted Stephen Castle. Get that. That's probably the best player out of that right now. But what the hell? You need a little luck. You need just a little bit of luck. We didn't get none of that. We don't get any free agent superstars that wants to come here. Whatever. We're not in conversation. Not even in that. So it's just tough being a Hawks fan. Because we don't even get no luck. We don't even get any bit of luck. I mean, you could have teased us. Now granted, the player that I'd like is Keaton Walker. That's who I'd like. But he's probably not even going to be there at number 8. So now you're like,
he won't.
Okay, so now
you go like number 6.
That's like the shitstone pick right there, number 8. It's like it's a good pick. You're gonna get a player. We'll get a good player, but not the player that we're supposed to get. So again, serenity now. I'm okay, America. So we're not even bad now. Here's the good side. The good side, we had a good season. We got our ass kicked by 50 points, and then you come around and give us the 8th pick. What type of shit is that? What is that?
Hey, you made the playoffs, man. NBA? Come on. Man, the Knicks kicking everybody's ass right now, so you shouldn't feel bad. I mean, it's
what you'll tell me, what you'll tell me, and again, I agree with it, that yes, you made strides this season. You definitely went further than expected. You're number 6 team, 6 seed in the NBA, so that's a win. And as I calm down, I will probably say, yes, get the best player available, because right now, at this juncture, the person that you get at number 8 is going to be a complementary piece. You don't have to put him. He doesn't have to come in and lead the team. You already got Jalen that's going to come in. He's made strides. You're going to hope that he's going to do some things over the summer. Same thing for Ricochet. Same thing for Dyson Daniels. They're going to grow their game. So you don't need him to come in and you're probably in the best position if you're the Hawks. If I'm being realist, right now, because if you come in, if you had a top something pick, that person's going to have to. The pressure kind of upset the dynamic what you already have too. So. What I'm thinking is this is, grab somebody,
Marcy's laughing at you, Andre.
as well, she knows.
We
she
all
knows my
are,
rants.
boss.
She already knows my rants. That's why I'm not over there, because I'll be yelling and stuff. I decided not to do that. But in this instant, you would probably get a player if you get like a Kingston Flemings, Mikael Brown Jr., LeBaron, any of those guards, even all those guards right there. They don't have to come in. They don't have to come in and be dominant. Just come in and kind of stabilize, come in, grow. You got CJ. You're going to probably re-sign him. We need another veteran. We need another big. And I know we talked about Mara. It's definitely it's too much of a reach at number 8. We talked about that, but it depends on what happens in free agency and everything like that too. Because we need a big, man. I'm looking at Henri Vesar from North Carolina. Harkenstein is still out there. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think the OKC is going to let him go. But who else is out there? And Onyeka Okongwu is only like 6'8", man. So the fact that he's trying to play center, I mean, I give him credit, but he's only 6'8", man. So that's not a good.
I got y'all taking Chris Sinak Jr. At 23.
He's still about 6'11", if I'm not mistaken, Rob. Isn't he like 6'11"?
Yeah, he's 6'11". He
So,
can step out and shoot it. Kelvin Sampson did a good job with him because the knack on him coming out of high school was that he was a tremendous prospect, but he didn't play hard. But Kelvin Sampson actually got the most out of him in Houston this year, where he actually competed. But he's a kid that's from New Orleans, went to Houston, and pretty good, really good athlete. So I think he's a guy. He's a freshman, but I think he's a guy that has a lot of potential too.
Getting my temperature rising again, because right now this is where we go. Because whenever you look at what's happening with Wemby, that dude is so super skilled that there's some players like whenever they try to go, they're like, nah, oh hell no, I'm not going into the lane. He blocking shots, he blocking 3-point stuff. Dude is dribbling like Garnett, or excuse me, no, not Garnett, Durant, excuse me, shooting threes. What type of shit is that? That is insane. I want that.
He's a one-time. He's a generational kind of talent, man.
Now he's 7'5". I'll let you get in here, JQ. I need somebody like. I mean, you ain't got to be Wemby like 7'3". I like 7'3". I like Mar. I like him, man. I'm saying. I know he's at 8. Damn it, but I'm just saying, man. You got to get size, man.
Wemby's a 1 in 50-year kind of player, man.
We know that. We know that.
Every team getting a player like him is very slim.
And of course,
so what you haven't talked about.
It would have to be the Spurs. Just lucky to get him. Thank you, Spurs. That's just, again, it's like they reward like San Antonio for something. I don't know. This feels like
it must be living right down there.
Listen, I've already told you they already know where the dead bodies are buried. They've got 4 Rookie of the Years in San Antonio: David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Castle, Wemby. In San Antonio, seriously, right? All 4 of them, I think, have won Rookie of the Year for San Antonio.
Yeah, you're right.
But the thing about it is that what you can't rule out yet is Atlanta and Oklahoma City, both with 2 first-round picks. You don't know who wants to, move down and get another pick in the first round in this draft. Everybody's talking about how deep it is and fill it out. I know it's not the NFL. It's not the same thing. But you can't rule out whether or not they can move up and go up a spot or 2 to give up their 23rd pick to move up from 8 to say 6 or 5.
We talked about that too. Yeah.
So that could happen.
I think I'm more of that. I'm more of that too. I'm just saying, like I said, I appreciate that. I mean, I'll let Rob get it. So I'm just saying that I think that's a possibility. OKC is like a master class. Some jokers will trade flip it and get a 30-something more picks at something. So that's a team I'm watching too. Same thing like the Warriors, because I don't think the Warriors want to hold that pick because they want to get to a veteran too. So that's something interesting what's happening with that as well. But I'm just going to let you get in, Rob, and I'm sorry. I'm going to get off my rant because I'm calming down. But I do like the way that the Hawks are building. They're not going to – there's a difference with being aggressive and being reckless. The previous regime was reckless. This is –
the process is ongoing.
He kept drafting the same type of player, and you got Austin Newell, so you don't really need Ace. You don't need another point power forward. So you kind of got your squad. I still think you need like a bigger guard. Again, that's why I was terrified. I love Akop, but I'm terrified because he doesn't play defense. So we need somebody that's at least 6 foot something to hold down the floor. Play some defense and create his own shot. That's what lets me.
It's an offense. Sorry, now that you have it, Rob. There's not a lot of cap space in the league. I think it's the Nets and I forget the other team that has like a crazy amount of cap space to where you can go throw money at it. I wonder what Atlanta does.
Brooklyn?
It's the Nets, yeah.
That's what he said. The Nets.
The Nets, and I forget who the other one is.
Sorry. Yeah,
they have like crazy amount of cap space.
Lakers are gonna have cap space without LeBron's contract this summer too.
Yeah.
Well, that's true, but I don't think the Lakers go crazy on Kuminga. I wonder. One, if the Hawks bring Kuminga back and what number they bring him back at, because then that also dictates what they can bring Jalen Johnson at in a couple of years and how that affects them moving forward. Because it can be a good story, but if you trade for Kuminga, you got to sign him. But is Kuminga worth the max deal when nobody else?
He's not the max. He's got a 2 years. He got a 2-year thing. They can re-sign that in. for 2 more years. If you want 40, it's still at 45 million, if I'm not mistaken. So then they can kind of evaluate it later. Because I still have questions about Kuminga, honestly. Because but
as you should.
Yeah.
No, that's the only thing to me that if you trade for Kuminga and you watch him help accelerate the Atlanta growth and get them to that playoff spot because he was really, really good for them down the stretch. I just wonder how much it's going to cost them to keep Kuminga when they the books moving forward.
They can opt in. I think they opt in for two more years, if I'm not mistaken. If I was reading about that, JQ, and then after that, that's whenever they have the decision to make for that extension, and that's where it becomes a serious conversation. Because I don't know if he's a max still player at this juncture.
No, he ain't. You know who ain't either? Austin Reeves, but that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
There was something they were saying that the Lakers needed a center. I'm like, what the? Is that? Did you hear about that?
They do. DeAndre Ayton needed to put him back to the Bahamas.
Freeport and Airport.
Like, what the hell?
Probably Freeport, not even the big city.
Yeah, listen. Just send him back to wherever destination you talk about that.
Rob's been patient. Go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry.
Hey, no, two things I wanted to touch on. We talk about this draft being a deep draft, but when it's all said and done, it may not be that deep after the top 10. And the reason why I say that is because you got a lot of fringe players that's considering going back to college, right? You got Milan Marjanovic from Iowa State, who's probably considered a mid to late first rounder, who's considering he's on a fringe on whether or not he's going to stay in the draft or go back to college. And he had the best turnaround jump shot in college basketball last year at Iowa State, right? So it's going to be interesting if he stays in the draft or he's going to probably transfer to Kentucky or North Carolina. Cole Pete at Arizona, he's still on a fringe on whether or not he's going to stay. He's middle first round prospect as well. Morris Johnson from Michigan, also considering Malachi Marino, Kentucky. Tande Yesufu, he's had a great pre-draft workout, so he might stay in the draft from Baylor. And then Amari Allen at Alabama. And then you have these players that's already decided they're going to stay in school. Braylon Mullins, who had the big-time shot against Duke at UConn, right? He's staying, right? Thomas Hart, Florida. Man, he was considered a mid-first-round pick. He's staying at Florida. Patrick Nkongba, I had him like number 12 overall. He's staying at Duke. And Krivas from Arizona, I had him going like 17 to 23. He's staying in Arizona. So all of a sudden, we talk about teams with these 2 first-round picks wanting to move up. I can't see a team in the top 10 wanting to give up those picks now because you may not have the deepness in this draft like we initially thought, because some of these players are like, hey, we can stay in school, make nil money, and possibly move into the top 10 in the draft next year. Right?
That's crazy though. But you just named 10 dudes. So you're basically going into the same issue next year by doing that. And then you're going to stay for a third year. And you also know how teams are. If you ain't good enough to come in that first year and not that second year, then you're definitely going to slide because you go into that third year and you're like, hey, man, if you was that guy, you wouldn't have had to go to the third year and just say, I'm going back for NIL money. So that's a dangerous proposition. When is
It is.
Do you know when the
deadline?
Yes.
I think it's May 27th. Don't quote me on that, but it's sometime in that time frame. It's the deadline for players to decide if they're going to stay in the draft. Because right now, a lot of these players that I just named, they're in the draft, but they're also in the transfer portal.
Wow.
And, yeah. So, or some of them are going to, if they do come back, are going to stay at the school. Like Morris Johnson at Michigan. If he comes back, he's not going anywhere. He's going to Michigan. He's going to stay at Michigan. But some of these guys, like Milan Marjanovic from Iowa State, he's in the portal. Right?
Yeah, nobody wants to live in Ames.
I'm not sure what the question, Richard. Can teams trade slots with the lottery? I'm not sure what you mean. If you're thinking about,
can teams make trade? Yes, but I'm not sure if there's something different that he's asking.
Yeah, just a little more details on that. I have 2 things I want to ask you guys, and then we'll talk about the mock draft, and then kind of get into some stuff with Giannis and our what the Jazz are going to do with the second pick. I know that the Kings signed. Who's got the 5th pick? Is that the Kings or the Clippers? Who's that 5th? Is that the Clippers with the
Clippers
5th
have the 5th pick.
Didn't they sign Darius Garland? Did they sign Garland, right?
But they traded for him with Cleveland with Harden.
So okay, so are they getting another guard at that 5th pick? I would assume.
I got them taking
no.
Darius the Cuff right
You,
now.
so you're gonna be 2 midgets in the backcourt is what you're looking at?
Hey
Okay.
man, the NBA is positionless
Damn.
league, and Garland and the Cuff, man, you got some explosiveness with speed in the backcourt, and
Okay.
you can bring one of them off the bench, man.
Okay.
You can still have a guy coming off the bench play 25, 30 minutes. You don't necessarily have to start,
Memphis.
right? And but yeah, I mean,
I'll
I
trade
think a
Garland
Cuff.
tomorrow.
So what?
I'll trade Garland tomorrow.
Yeah. Memphis
Yeah,
is
he's
looking at
kind of down this year. Like last year, he had a terrific year, but he did took a step back this year. I would agree.
Memphis is probably the scariest spot that will take probably. I hope they don't take Keaton Wagner. That's the destination because what's happening with John Morant. But
Well, I think Memphis is gonna go Boozer at 3. I mean, I don't.
No, who's the other? Okay, let me look at this.
I would trade that pick to Milwaukee and go get Giannis.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I was looking at. And then
Giannis said he wants to stay in the East.
They might end up being in the East in realignment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then what's up with
yeah.
What's up? Like Jazz, man. The Jazz need to do everything in their power to get that. Because I still think AJ ain't going to Washington, man. He looked sour the whole night. I know I've seen guys about he's going back into.
I'm hearing
school.
I got a buddy of mine. He's a Washington fan and everything. He's a big Wizards fan, big Commanders fan. I was texting him earlier. He's in DC right now. He said the whole city is crunk about getting the Banter. So I think they're gonna find a way to make the Banter happy. And I think Utah should do everything in their power to try to get the Banter. But here's the dilemma: if you're the Wizards, right? If you trade down to number 2 and you let Utah get the Banter, then you're gonna have to make a tough decision on whether or not to take Peterson or not, right? If I'm Washington, I want no parts of that. I'm gonna stay at 1, and I'm gonna take the Banter because I don't want to be put in that situation of making a tough decision on whether or not I'm gonna take Peterson or not, right?
But did you hear that article about how
creatine?
Yeah, I heard about, and I don't know if that's agent speak
or
that's real because there was how he was taking too much creatine that was messing up his. And it could have been. It's probably a little bit of agent talk, a little bit of like he didn't want to play because he wanted to get hurt. I think that was the truth behind that. But I mean, he's definitely an enigma for sure. I'll call him.
We can talk about this offline because I'm not gonna put this on the podcast. If I'm Washington, I don't want no parts of AJ Devonta. That dude just showed you he doesn't want to be there.
There it is.
And he likes life in Utah. Utah can't be further away from what life is going to be like in Washington, D.C. So, if that's what you want to have, you have at it, brother. I would give Utah, I would make them trade up for it, though. They would have to give me a first-round pick in 2 years or some seconds, something. They would have to be. You know what? I have not looked into what the how Jimmy Johnson did the draft capital thing for the NFL in terms of the slots, and if you move back, what the numbers are. I don't know what it means in terms of the NBA to move from 1 to 2. But I would tax Utah. They would have to give me something. Like Denzel said, I'm leaving here with something, right? I'm leaving here with something to move from 1 to 2. And I would take Peterson and put him with Sarr and Trae Young and Anthony Davis and say, listen, those other 2 dudes ain't played all year. If you can't come back healthy in 26, 27, then I don't know what to tell you, right? We gave you the whole year off to get to the second pick in the draft, or the number 1 pick in the draft. So you want to get paid.
Yeah.
Again, we talked about it. There's not a lot of cap space. Right now, the best thing you 2 can do is rebuild not your character, but rebuild your value in the league this year. Help Sarr and this dude we're going to take number 1 if I trade down to number 2. But I don't want no parts of AJ. AJ the best. Don't feel like a good fit in the city of Washington, D.C. I'm leaving it at that. I think Peterson would. I will get Peterson with those other 3 dudes and say we can mess around and be the 7th seed and be the new Orlando or the new Atlanta next year.
Yep, I like it.
That's a tough one. I don't know if I'm the Wizards, man. Utah's gonna have to make a real sweet offer for me to trade down.
AJ don't want to play there. I don't know how we got to say this.
I mean,
he won't play there.
Well,
he's not built for Washington.
I don't know. I don't know.
Sometimes you don't know. I mean, like He can be like, I'm a draft you. He can he gonna be sour. He can be sour, man. I'm telling you, man.
That man went on first take and chose BYU.
But guess what? How much money did BYU pay him to go there?
You don't
$7 million.
He
will go back to school. He will go back to school, Rob. I'm telling you, man.
No, he
will
won't.
have to go back
No,
to
he
school.
No,
won't.
he's not going
No, he
back to
won't.
school.
We've had a conversation about this before. You got to find you a dude that wants to live and play in Utah. A Karl Malone, one of those kind of dudes that don't want nothing else but to go hunting and be a good old boy and be out there in Utah. He's one of those dudes. I don't think he's built to play in Washington D.C., bro.
He's from New Jersey,
I don't think he is either. We know why.
He went to BYU.
$7 million? You wouldn't go?
What were the other offers? You don't even know.
To my knowledge, BYU offered him more than any other school. $7 million.
They made it real comfortable for him, Rob. That's all we're gonna say.
$7 million.
I kind of like this.
So if you're gonna give me
LSU paid Jordan Seaton $4 million. BYU paid boy $7 million.
I got you. But if you're gonna give me $5 to $5.5 to play in Florida with no state income tax, maybe in Texas with no state income tax, I'm not going to California for anything less than 8 because of the taxes. But I don't know what the other schools said. But if one of those Texas schools or Florida schools or Georgia or one of them that have a better cost of living gave him 6, yeah, bro. BYU
got a lot of money, man. They got a lot of money.
It tells me everything I need to know about AJ DeBanco. That's all I'm going to say.
And BYU got another top recruit coming in next year. I think they're paying him like $5 or $6 million.
Hey man, listen, we got to start up our game, man. I need to take a trip, man.
With this Neal environment changes everything, man. Schools like BYU's got a ton of money. Schools like Texas Tech's got a lot of money.
Yeah.
Every school in the Big Ten's got a ton of money. Yep. So everybody's not, prior to all of this, everybody wanted to go play in the South, right? They wanted to go to Georgia, LSU, Florida. But
there's a reason.
Who's paying us the most money now?
Mm-hmm. There's a reason. You can still get paid. You'll still be rich.
Rich. Mm-hmm. We're gonna wrap this up at no later than 12:30. But all right, his face is said all, Marcy.
Listen, 12:30. Yes, 12:30 at the latest. I'm with you, Marcy. That dude told me everything. He don't want to leave the state of Utah.
He wasn't like, yeah, I'm going to Washington.
What were y'all supposed to think? Y'all think he was gonna jump up and down and celebrate? Yes! He wasn't gonna do that on TV.
At least be happy, bro.
You think he would have did that if Utah got the number 1 pick?
He looked like
he would have jumped up and down to celebrate on national TV?
You going to Chocolate City?
AJ wants no part of Washington.
It wasn't like it was Cleveland.
I was texting some of my colleagues that live in Utah. They're big Jazz fans. And I was like, man, the Jazz look like they might win the lottery. They said, Adam Silver would never let us win the lottery.
That's funny. But they got a squad. You got Jaren Jackson Jr. You got Laurie Marketing. They got a squad, man. They got some
Keithler and Deontay had a heck of a year.
I was like, man.
They got some players.
Keontae George. Yeah, you said that. Yeah. Let's wrap this up real quick. All right, 2 things in which we'll do this. I was going to say, no further punishment on Wemby, of course, because he's the effing star. There's no way he's not.
I don't think he deserves no more punishment, though.
But
my opinion.
He's still a star, man. And then let's just say if Giannis wanted to say, if you indulge Giannis, where's he saying in the East? Where the hell is that happening?
I said this. I said this a week or 2 ago, man.
Boston
is not afraid to make those kind of moves. Watch out, Jason Tatum for Giannis. Boston has never been afraid to make those kind of moves.
It is not going to be Jason Tatum. It's going to be Jaylen Brown.
Whoever it is, Boston has never been. Now, I hope Boston trades Jaylen Brown.
For picks, JQ, you can't just is it straight up. You got to have something.
You can almost make that deal straight up.
That'd be straight up. That's straight up. 34. Yeah. How old is? He's 35. How old is Giannis?
Giannis is like 31. Jalen is like 27, and I think Tatum is somewhere in the same ballpark. Now, look.
Yeah, they went back-to-back drafts.
I think Boston will be stupid to trade Jaylen Brown, but I hope they do. That's how much I hate the Celtics, right? Jaylen Brown. We talked about this last week. They have top 5 two-way player in the league. Plays on both ends of the floor. But if the Celtics trade Tatum for Giannis and you pair Giannis with Jaylen Brown, and if Giannis is healthy, man.
Boston's going to keep that light skin energy. They're gonna keep Jason Tatum. Stop it.
they got
Oh,
enough
man.
light skin on the team. They got Sam Hauser. They got
And that's
Peyton
what they
Pritchard.
want. And that's what they want. That's what I'm saying. They are not trading Jason Tatum. They would trade Jaylen Brown tomorrow. If you give him Jaylen Brown and a pick for Giannis, right now, I don't even know. You know what? That's a conversation for another day. Given where Giannis is, his age and his health right now, you might be able to convince Milwaukee to give them straight up for Jaylen Brown.
Yeah. Yeah. You never, I don't think the Knicks can make the trade. Well, they could, but the Knicks got a chance to go to the finals this year.
Knicks-
I don't know
the
if you want to
Knicks-
mess up your chemistry. But
Listen, if
another team to
OKC
watch
ain't
is the
gonna do
Miami
it, they're
Heat.
gonna do anything.
So
To
what?
give up who? If OKC ain't gonna do it for the reasons you said it in the shows before,
They're not
then
gonna do it.
neither will New York. Because it's the same concept.
Yep.
Yeah.
But who is Miami gonna give them?
Never
Who?
rule out Miami and Pat Riley figuring something
They
out.
don't have any assets to Rob.
But you know the NBA, man, they do 3-team trades, 4-team trades.
If they can do a 17 trade,
Cash
it's still ain't gonna work.
considerations.
Come on, man. Who are they calling?
That's why when I said that, when I thought about it, when I said Memphis, you gotta remember that Orlando gave was it 4 first round
4
picks
picks. Four. Desmond Bain.
to Memphis for Desmond Bain. So if you're
Yeah.
talking about, hey, listen, little dude,
Minnesota gave up 4 for Rudy Gobert.
think about 5.
5, yeah.
Yeah. But if you're looking at
1,
terms
2, 3,
of,
4, 5.
but I'm just saying, if you're talking about, can I keep my star and pair another star with them, is why we kept talking about the OKCs of the world with Giannis because they have so many picks. You talk about Jaylen Brown with Boston or Jason Tatum, you have another star that you can swap for him, and keep another star there. If you're Miami, I don't know what Miami has to offer unless they get a 16 trade going with Milwaukee. But if you look at Memphis and you say, hey man, I'm gonna give you Ja and Giannis, and we don't have to give away Ja, but we can give you just reroute the picks from Orlando. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. If Giannis going to Milwaukee, does that make them a championship contender? I don't think so. And I think Giannis is going to want to go somewhere where he's competing for a title. And not that Milwaukee should, just let him go wherever he want to go. But I think they're going to try to do right by Giannis, too, and put him in a situation.
I think there was a time they would have done right by Giannis. I think that bridge, I think it's some hard feelings on both sides.
Yeah.
I don't know if they say that anymore. I don't. I think they say, hey man, if we can't get a superstar back, but you can give us a Godfather offer of like 4 to 5 picks where we can re-jump our rebuilding process here now.
Who else is knocking on that door in the East, right? You know it's not going to be the Knicks. Who else is knocking on that door? Detroit desperately needs a second star, but what can they give up?
And then you got the Pacers.
What can they give up? But they don't want Duran. They don't want Duran.
No. Mm-mm. And Michael Evans, even though he's playing well in the playoffs, will they take him in a bunch of draft picks?
Will you give up a nipple and Bridges and a couple of picks to get Giannis to pair with Bello?
You're messed up chemistry, though. That team has already got good chemistry as it is, though, man. Why are you going to
listen?
Yeah, but what can get him over the hump? It's got to be a team that's knocking on that door. And you look at the East right now, the Knicks look like the team to beat going to the finals the way they're playing. Why is people not giving Mike Brown credit? Man, this has got to be one of the better coaching jobs, man. The way they're moving that ball on offense and playing defense, you could have made a point that, firing Thibodeau was not a smart idea, but man, whoever made that decision and hired Mike Brown looked like a genius right now. They got better flow on offense.
What about Washington?
Huh?
What if Washington said, hey, man, we'll give you Trae Young, Alex Sarr, and this pick for Giannis?
I wouldn't do it. They're not knocking. It's got to be a team that's knocking on the door, in my opinion.
I said that, but did you put Giannis and AD together at the 4 and the 5?
It's got to be a team like Detroit that's knocking on that door. We got to give Cade Cunningham another star, and how do we make it happen? And a lot of these NBA teams get creative. They get a 3rd and 4th and 5th team involved in some of these trades, the 5-way trade, all that foolishness.
If they trade that fool to Detroit, not just in the East, but a stone's throw away from Milwaukee, it's gonna be a full-blown riot.
But you know how this goes, man. Teams that's knocking on that door over the years are the kind of teams that makes these kind of moves, right? So you got to think it's, who's going to come up short in the East this year? We saw Philly is out, right? Nobody's going to take Embiid. He can't stay healthy. But then
what about Denver? What if they give him Jamal Murray and Cam Johnson and two?
He's not gonna go. He don't want to go. He wants to stay in the
he
East.
said he wants to stay in the East.
He don't have no say.
That's what we talked about. He wants to stay in the East, man, because we done got him like 50,000 different things.
He don't have no say. If I'm Milwaukee, I do what I want.
I do what I want. I do what I want.
He wants to stay in the city with some culture, man, where he get some Greek food.
You know what? I'm done.
And Detroit actually has a lot of good Greek restaurants too.
I'm done.
Detroit. That'd be wild.
I'm done. Do your last comment. We'll wrap this thing up, man, because this is now Rob over here just making up stuff, man.
No, I've spent some time in Motown, man. Detroit's got some good Greek food, man.
I try not to spend no time in Motown.
8 Mile, let's go.
Oh man, yeah. Well, I mean, the only thing I'll close on with is the NBA playoffs, man. Donovan Mitchell, man, put on the show in the second half tonight. 39 points in the second half. He only had 4 at halftime.
Yeah, he was crashing in the first half.
Yeah, that might be our best series this round for a 7-game series. This round, I still think the Spurs win in 6 over T-Wolves.
Yeah, I agree. And listen, I was talking to my homeboys about it, and I was like, man, if you're the New York Knicks, man, I'm really curious to how this layoff is going to affect them. They were playing fantastic basketball. Like I don't think they wanted to be done that fast because they were in a rhythm of playing every other day, and they were beating the brakes off of fools. Like sometimes rest is just not a good thing. OG, yeah, you want him back, but yeah, you could have got him back in the 3rd or 4th game in the next series and still being rolling. I'm super interested to see how that affects them, no matter who they play in the Eastern Conference Finals, because they were playing such good basketball. Just having a week off, basically, I think it's going to end up being how that affects their, I know you don't care, Dre, but how that affects their momentum, because they were playing fantastic basketball, and sometimes there's too much rest.
Yeah, you look at this Pistons-Cavs series right now, it's going at least 6. They're tied at 2-2 right now, and I think that series got every bit of the possibility of going 7 games. So the Knicks are going to be sitting for a good while here. But, man, they are playing phenomenal basketball right now on both ends of the floor too, right? Their offensive flow just seems to be so much better than what they had last year under Tom Thibodeau. Now, they're a deeper team than they were last year too. With adding Jordan Clarkson, they got Miles McBride. So they're definitely the Knicks are definitely a deeper team than they were this time last year. They only had really a 6-man rotation, and then the way Josh Hart is playing too.
To me, the way they're constructed, they're the only team I think is deep enough to give OKC a super run for their money. Coming out of the East of the teams that are left, between them, Detroit and Cleveland. So. Yeah,
and they got 2 bigs, Karl-Anthony Towns. You bring in Mitchell Robinson, who will help you out on the defensive end of the floor, rebound. You can be a little flexible and put them on the court at the same time. So I think they have the positionless basketball for them to be successful, where they can play different lineups, different variations.
I agree. I need somebody to talk to Evan Mobley though.
Yeah, where's Oregon State ranked at, Richard?
Didn't they lose one of their pitchers?
Yeah, where they, because I'm curious where you put, because write down where they're ranked, because I'm ready for you, man. Because at the end of the day, you got Oregon State. I'm not sure where you're going with. Georgia Tech is right number 3, man. 42-8, man. So everything I'm just gonna give a shout out to that, because we still top 3. We top 3.
Oh, so now we're back to being we with Georgia Tech.
That's right. We go back and forth. Yeah,
we with Indiana in football. We with Georgia Tech.
Man, I've been with Georgia Tech for like 50,000 years, man. Come on.
Okay, I think they lost one of their pitchers, so they lost Dax Whitney. I thought that was a huge blow for Oregon State.
Yep. Oregon State is ranked, Richard. Where they rank, Richard? If I'm looking at the college ranking, I thought they were ranked like number 7.
UCLA, number 1 in the country.
That's right. Well, it's all good. 6. Okay. Well, yeah, we're number 3. We number 3. Top 3. Let's go. Wrap this up, Rob.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun. We're wrapping up this edition of Talking Sports for the 12th Man. stay tuned to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. We'll let you know what night we'll be on next week. Hey, we want to hear from y'all in New York as y'all moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals. We want to hear from OKC. We want to hear from y'all next week. And hey, we want to hear from Seattle and Las Vegas. Look like y'all getting NBA teams as well, right? And hey, NFL, OTAs. We want to hear from NFL fans as well. Next week, we'll be back on. Stay tuned. We'll let you know what night we're going to be on.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. We don't want
Go Chargers. Get some rest, guys.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Thanks
Talk
for the
soon.
comments, Richard and Marcy.